Good morning, everyone. We finally have some sun, and it feels so good. Even though it's still cold out here. About an hour ago when I took Noah to school, it was 36. A lot of frost everywhere. Not on our property. There was a little on our roof, but I think because we are on a slope, that the cold air, most of the cold air runs down the hill and settles at the bottom. So along the road, which is in the bottom of the valley, a lot of the houses down there, their front lawns were covered in frost, flower beds, things like that. But up here on the hill, I didn't see anything except on our roof. So that's good, especially since our last frost date was supposed to be 2 days ago. But I'm not really sure how that can be, since at our old house, which was closer to the ocean, it was February 14th, which was like a whole month later. So I'm not quite trusting that yet. Let me feed the chickens, and I'll tell you what's in store for today. Somebody asked about eating fertile eggs. And yeah, there's a good chance that all of these eggs have been fertilized. We see the rooster doing it. But the thing about fertile eggs is, unless they're incubated by an incubator or hen, they don't go beyond the initial fertilization. And so sometimes you'll be able to see, I have still not been able to see, but a lot of times on an egg yolk, there is a white speck, which is normal, unfertilized. If it has been fertilized, sometimes supposedly you'll be able to see a tiny little ring around that initial speck, like a bullseye almost. Very hard to see. I still haven't seen it, but that's the only difference between a fertilized and unfertilized egg. In order to move it along in the process, the egg has to be at 100 degrees 24/7 for 3 days after it being laid. Well, that certainly isn't going to happen here in the winter, and it's not going to happen here in the summer because we don't have 100 degrees at night ever. And if you gather the eggs every day anyway, it really has no effect. So the chances of us like breaking an egg open and there being a baby chicken is absolutely zero. So in our last video, I was putting up tarps to be able to control or to stop the coop from leaking. And I think the tarps did that. Well, the first attempt, in that video, I said I was a little bit worried that it would collect water and then just collapse and dump all the water down in there. That happened. So I came back out and I put up a tarp on top of the roof outside the coop so that the water wouldn't even get into the coop at all and it would just run off. Not sure why I didn't do that in the first place. And that worked. Unfortunately, the tarp that I put up there in the back, all of that water, like it's a roof, just ran off and completely flooded the area behind the coop, and the water just went right under the coop, and everything in the coop was wet once again. So this is an anomaly. We never get this kind of rain. This is like record breaking. So it's not like I have to do something drastic, but at least this shows me where I could make some beneficial changes. Now, I don't remember ever having rain like this in my entire lifetime. I know we have. When I was in high school, we had record-breaking rains, and rivers were flooding, and the pier at the beach got torn off. So I know this isn't the first time, but certainly in my adult life, this is the first rain ever like this that I can remember. And on the worst day of rain, after everything was saturated, we had such strong winds that night. I was actually quite worried. I was so thankful that all of these eucalyptus trees on this side were taken out because we still have one tree. This tree right here is tall enough where if it fell, it still could hit the house. And that night I was inside these big windows here and I turned on the lights up there, and the rain was coming down in sheets. And the wind, you could barely see the trees, the eucalyptus trees there were just going crazy in the wind. I was really concerned. I didn't sleep well that night. I was concerned that, you know, one of those big windows would be broken out in the morning or the roof would be collapsed. It didn't happen, but we have had flooding here like crazy, not on our property because we're on a hill, but just right down here. They had tow trucks over there pulling cars out. One of the roads that apparently, you know, floods when there is a lot of rain was really flooded. I went by a couple of days ago, a couple of days after this heavy rain, and it was still flowing right across the road. There's a stream that goes down here, which is usually dry, but it's not dry. One of the worst things that happened to us, at least, a couple of days ago, our toilets started bubbling when they would be flushed. Sometimes they'd flush, sometimes they wouldn't. When you flush one, the other bathroom would like gurgle. We didn't know what was going on. Asked someone, they said, because of all this rain, the septic tank, we've never been on septic before. The septic tank could be backed up. So now I've got to get someone out here for that. As far as the coop is concerned, the roof should be here next week. So that'll be great. I have been putting off the stucco job because I've never done stucco and I'm procrastinating because of that. And then I thought, well, I'll just go get the materials and then they'll be here for when it's time. And then they'll be here and, you know, staring me in the face and I'll get started. But then I remembered it's bare root planting season. And so we're going to head out to the nursery instead. By the way, I forgot to tell you that when we were at the feed store the other day, Emily mentioned to the owner about our rooster. And he asked what breed it was, and I guess because it's a desirable breed, it's an olive egger, that he would take it off our hands. Now, I'm still going to try to do the domination thing to see if we can keep him, but if not, at least now he has a home to go to. So Emily has an appointment this morning and she trusted me to take the bread out of the oven at the appropriate time. So we've got bread in there now. I cannot screw this up. So I've got 9 more minutes on the clock. Oh, mine looks better than hers did the other day. She burnt hers. Yeah. All right, we are headed over to Walter Anderson Nursery. The drive-through nursery I took you guys, or was going to take you guys to the other day, apparently they don't even have bare root trees, so that wasn't going to work. So we are headed over to Walter Anderson, and that's the nursery I had my book signing and meet and greet at this last July. And they have a big selection of bare root trees and roses and all kinds of stuff, so we'll see what we can find. Bare root heaven.
This year, do you think this might?
My name is Brian, and I'm a plantaholic.
He really is.
But we got a lot of good stuff. I feel like it was a lot of stuff, but for the price. But I'll go through it all when we get home, the entire haul. But yeah, does anybody else feel like that when you go to a garden center? You just can't stop.
No.
So we're trying one more place because they didn't have the strawberries there, so I'm checking a nursery a little bit closer to home and seeing if they have them. All right, we just got back, and First thing we got was a lilac because it's one of Emily's favorites, and we've never grown it before. So this will be fun. And we've got 3 bare root fruit trees. One of them is an early, and so it's already got some leaf and flower buds totally swollen. So I've got Arctic Star White Nectarine. I have Fan Still Pear and a May Pride Peach. So I already have peaches and pears from last year, but these are a difference. So I think 2 of these are, one of these is early, where I have a mid, or one of the peaches is early. Did I get 2 peaches? No. So if I have an early out there, then I got a late or a mid-season in this batch. All of these are between or under 300 hours of chill time, which when I do the video for planting these on the Next Level Gardening channel, I'll go through all of that. I got an apple that's already espaliered for me. So it's already ready to be continued to be trained. And then they threw in the same bag, I've got 3 thornless blackberries. We also got 4 bunches of asparagus crowns, which right now look like trash, but these will all be full-grown asparagus plants. 40 of those. And we could not find, that second nursery did not have strawberries, bare root. However, we went to Home Depot last night and they had them. And they had the variety I wanted, Ozark Beauty. So we got 30 Ozark Beauty bare root strawberries. Now, I bought them from Home Depot before, and bare root, they're just the same as any other bare root, as long as you're early in the season. You know, once they've sat on the shelf in Home Depot for 3 months, they're not going to be any good. And then they also had a dahlia that I remember growing as a kid. So I got this, there's 3 in here, so 3 for $10, that's not bad. We also got a bird feeder on clearance at Home Depot. We have so many more birds here than we did when we lived in town. And so we thought that would be fun to hang outside of our living room window and watch all the birds. And hopefully, I think in that spot, the squirrels can't get to it. So one problem I actually had with getting these fruit trees is I came home and I thought I was getting a pollinator for one of the apples that I already had. I didn't get the pollinator. I got the same one. So now I have 2 of those and no pollinator for it. And a couple of the other apples that I have that I thought were self-pollinating do better with a pollinator. So I need to go back and get a couple more trees, but not today. So I thought a good closing shot for this video would be just simply the birds eating out of the new bird feeder, but it's been 4 days, not 1 bird. See you guys next time.